Lent begins this day with those words, "Remember you are dust, and to dust you shall return." These are not words for the weak or faint-hearted. You see, when we take these ashes as these crosses upon our foreheads, we are reminded of who we are when no one is looking. We're reminded that we are never alone, that God is with us in our birth and in our death, in the dark and in the light, when we are leading lives of honor and when we are leading lives of dishonor. And it takes great courage to look at ourselves as though we are stripped naked in front of a mirror and we see the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The prophet Joel begs the ancient Hebrews to take a look in the mirror too. Only instead of putting ashes on their foreheads to remind them, he says, "Return to the Lord with all your heart, with fasting, with weeping, and with mourning. Rend your hearts and not your clothing." In other words, stand in front of a mirror and tear open your inner being, your heart, and take a look at what's going on in there. Look deep into the darkest nooks and crannies, and you'll see that not all is well. Like Joel, Jesus comes to us this day with the same invitation. He is, after all, the great cardiologist, a heart specialist who knows we need healing even if we all feel just fine and we live believing that there's actually nothing wrong. Without using any treadmills or CAT scans, Jesus can diagnose heart disease with piercing accuracy. He always sees what no one else sees about us. He knows who we are when no one else is looking. He knows what makes us sick. And he knows that the only way to make our hearts well is to bring them into the light of truth, so that what we see doesn't just scare us, but it actually leads us to the healing power of God's mercy and God's forgiveness. I'll never forget a scene, and looking around, I think most of us in here have seen this movie, at least you've heard of it if you're a little bit younger, from 1993 called Schindler's List. Really, I think one of the best movies ever made, and one worth really going back and trying to find it somewhere on a streaming service to watch again. And the scene that I cannot ever forget is one of a Nazi commandant, Amman, who has fallen in love with Helen, his Jewish maid. One night, Amman goes down into the cellar of his barracks where Helen lives. He goes there to thank her for her hard work, but before long, he is circling her. Well, she stands there speechless, dressed in nothing but her white slip, a single light bulb kind of dangling over her head from the ceiling. I understand that, strictly speaking, you are not a human being, he says to her. You are Jewish vermin. I know, but I ask you, Amman says, reaching out like to touch her face and then yanking his hand back as if he had just been stung. Are those the eyes of a rodent? Are those the lips of a rodent? Is that the hair of a rodent? Amman is struggling with matters of his heart. He sees this Jewish woman as defective and himself as superior. He's a high-ranking member of the superior race. She is the enemy, the germ that threatens to bring his race down. And yet Amman loves Helen. And yet he cannot love her not without contaminating himself. A war is raging inside his heart over Helen. And so he beats her, wrecking the cellar and her face at the same time, seeking to destroy the one who reaches into his heart and exposes his sickness. Jesus knows that the first sign of heart disease is when we think everyone else is defective. I'm just healthy. You know, when we believe that we can just take care of evil by eliminating those who frighten us or disturb us or challenge us. We can simply shun them, blame them, hit them, arrest them, even kill them, if need be. But the prophet Joel and our cardiologist Jesus knows that the greatest danger is not the people out there who do wrong. The greatest danger is right here in our hearts, in those deep, dark cave and crevices where evil resides, where you and I can look at another human being and ask, are those the eyes of a rodent? Are those the lips of a rodent? Now, please, don't get me wrong. There's evil in the world. But until we meet up with the evil in ourselves, we cannot overcome it. We cannot fight the shadow we don't own. Mother Teresa knew it. You might have heard this before. Someone apparently, I think this is true, maybe it didn't true, but it sounds great. Someone asked Mother Teresa why she did what she did, and she replied that she engages in her ministry of love because she knew that there was a Hitler lurking inside her. Does that kind of shock you? It wouldn't have shocked Joel, and it certainly wouldn't have shocked Jesus. He knows the full potential of our hearts for good and for evil. He knows the struggle that tortures the human heart. He just wishes we knew it too. So, welcome to Lent. When you come forward in just a moment here, for that cross of ash upon your forehead, don't come up here casually. You're making an appointment with the great cardiologist who's going to take the next 40 days to examine your heart. Please have the courage to let him take a look. Don't hide anything from his gaze. And don't be afraid. God has seen it all before, and nothing can make him love you or me any less. For the Lord our God is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. Nothing about you can scare God. So trust him with your heart, and I guarantee he will make you well.